We're live.
All
This
right,
is
good morning,
KAOS. By the
everybody.
way, we should do a little bit of short introduction each time.
Okay.
Do you think that makes sense or no?
What do we want in the introduction?
Something like, well, I just said the name. This is KAOS.
Yeah.
We could say this is a live stream meeting we do every week,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. I don't know what the blah, blah, blah should be. I don't want to do a ton of it every time.
No, but it wouldn't be bad to have something that we repeat every time.
And actually, another way to do it is, I don't know if you guys know, I'm sure you've seen this in other live streams. There's a little intro video you can play.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I would have to make it, and we could put that, everything we want to say in that intro, so we don't fucking have to say it every time.
Yeah. Along with the logo, if you could put the logo in there.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I don't know what we would put in there. I haven't thought about it. We could actually make that a task we get done. I think that makes sense. We want to look more professional. Also, just, some people I think have shown up here didn't even know what the fuck we are or what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, right? Or does that make that one guy that showed? I don't know how he showed up. I don't know how he found us. He said some marketing shit I never heard of.
Yeah, he said.
I wonder if he was a single case and everyone else that came here knew what the fuck we are. What do you think? Do you know?
I always assume that they're coming here because they have some clue of what we're talking about. But
but even though if they know what KAOS is about, or like you say, some clue, that doesn't mean they know what these meetings are.
No.
Mm-hmm.
And how they can be involved in it.
Well,
the intro should say stuff like that. We never talk about it. We talked about it once. It's in a document buried somewhere.
Yeah.
But then nobody hears it again, and nobody should expect that anyone's going to go read that fucking thing, right?
No,
that's one thing. Yeah. And second, we shouldn't expect everyone's going to go watch the previous 14 episodes.
Yeah, that's
right.
So, yeah, let me pull up that document now. KAOS meeting minutes. 6:15.
You guys get the email I sent dealing with the Constitution for the site?
Yeah. Yes, I did, but I could not open it in any way, shape, or form in my phone. It would allow me to copy paste it. It would allow me to move into files. It would allow me to do lots of things, but it would not. It would allow me to tag it. It would allow me to do all these things, but I couldn't.
But wouldn't let you open it.
I could not see the content. I was baffled as to how come I could not get it to open in any way.
I know why, because it went in the ODT format, open document text format. Everything's trying to use that Microsoft crap.
Yeah, it's all beyond me, but I could not get it open. So I don't know.
Well, I've got a PDF version I can send you, or we can share it here on the site.
Yeah. Either way, just as long as I can access it.
Oh yeah.
So unfortunately, I was not able to look at it at all.
Okay.
I also we talked about the video. If I could find something in that video we first did, Rami, and no, there's nothing concise in there that wouldn't take a ton of editing to get some real kind of tidbit out of it. So. No, we'll have to think about something else for that.
I just remembered that. Yeah. So we need to make a video for the website, and we need to make an intro video for this live stream. Of course, they would be different, but they would be similar. Some of the content would be the same. Yeah. And I guess it makes sense to, while we're thinking about one, we're thinking about the other because they got to work together.
Right.
There's some similarities there, yeah.
Yeah. Some of the stuff will be repeated, but it's going to be a totally different video. And actually, here's how we could do it. We could design it by brainstorming now, then actually say it right here.
Yeah.
Then later, I can edit that video, and there's the video. We have it. Instead of trying to record it somewhere else, because this is all being recorded. And then, about the logo, I already have the KAOS logo. I can just add it to this screen.
Yeah.
Like somewhere on the left or right. If
we
had 4 people, it'd be harder. Fortunately, we only have 3 people right now.
What I see is just a picture of a logo and then somebody speaking in behind. A voice saying this is KAOS.
One person, you mean?
Yeah, one person, or I think so. Even just I don't know. ChatGPT voice or something, it doesn't have to be one of us. But
I think it should be you, Brian.
Yeah. And just a quick intro. This is KAOS. We're building this system. These are the weekly meetings, and welcome to meeting number 13 or whatever.
Well, we wouldn't say the number or whatever.
No, because you have to have a new recording every time.
When we start, we could say that, but it's in the title.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And this is the latest meeting or whatever,
Yeah.
But yeah, just a quick little introduction like that.
So just you in the video, which, by the way, I can crop the rest of us out.
Yeah, well, like I was saying, it could be just, it doesn't have to be a picture of me. It could be just the logo and just the voice.
I see.
Yeah.
Why do you want your face out of it? I know it could be that way, but like, what's the argument against putting your face in it?
I don't like being I mean,
the leader?
Yeah. Well,
dude,
we haven't even really chosen a leader yet or anything. So officially, I'm not a leader, and so it just seems like I'm. I don't know.
Actually, I argue with that point. You're the founder, so currently you are the leader.
Yeah, like de facto leader, even without us officially doing it. Like if we got trouble in court or something like that, and in court they're gonna say, well, even though you guys officially didn't pick a leader, this is the acting leader right now, just like they do with marriages. If your boyfriend and girlfriend live in 8 years, in some states in the U.S., they're like, all right, that's a de facto marriage. I don't give a fuck. You didn't make it official. We're making it official.
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying, but I just don't see a reason that I need to have my face up there.
Well, here's the reason I have for it, because that's how we talk in general. Like writing is a skill we learn later. What we first do is talk and look at people's faces. That's the first way we communicate. We do that for years before we learn how to write. And then people still don't fit. I say write, but like people, there's a whole bunch of communication people don't know how to receive without looking at someone's face.
But the way I see it is more like as the opening to any television show, whether it be the news or a sitcom or anything like that. They're not usually showing somebody talking. It's just a voice over scenes about the show or a background of some kind.
Okay, so let's talk about that possibility then. Aside from just showing the KAOS logo, and aside from just thinking of a still image and never changing, what video could we use that isn't our faces? Could we? Okay, I see this sometimes in an intro video or also an outro video on the other side. We should consider doing that too. At the end, I don't know, maybe not. That sounds like extra. Anyway, just on the intro video, I've seen intro videos where they play a little bit of the actual podcast, like with maybe some shading and with the volume not full, but you can hear a little bit of it. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Do you want to go that far for this kind of intro?
It could be just a background of us, a split screen like this, and like you said, just hushing the voices and have a voice over top. Yeah.
Now, I've never done that before. I've only seen it done, and I know I can figure it out in CapCut, but I don't know when I can get to that kind of stuff. I just did my live stream event, my first anniversary yesterday.
Yes,
so,
well,
I watched a little bit of it. I was there.
Cool. Thank you.
I watched, I'd say probably about 3/4 of it. And
cool.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to say was, I don't know how long it's going to take before I finish working on that. That thing was long.
Yeah.
The work of setting it up was long, but the work afterwards is going to be long too, because now there's a ton of shit I have to do.
Yeah. And
I don't mean just video editing, which is long in itself, but I got to do things like contact everybody afterwards. There's I've already sent 3 emails since yesterday. Brian, one of them is to you, or 4 emails.
No, you just sent me a message on Reddit.
Yeah, well, I just emailed you with about the same thing, but more clarity and more questions. Yeah, I want to do a podcast with you with a third person, Wissam Sharafuddin, about democracy.
Yes, and he was talking about Robert's Rules of Orders.
Yes.
And
do you know about that?
No, I had not heard about that before. I can see I'm going to have to do
I want to talk to you about it, and it's relevant to these meetings we're doing.
Oh, yeah, it sounds very
And
relevant.
it addresses the issue that we've been discussing for the last couple of episodes
of deliberation, right?
Yeah, but more specifically in the context of a meeting.
Yeah.
One of the elements of it is each person should have the same amount of time, equal time, to have a chance to say what they want to say.
Yeah.
Which we didn't think of that in the last few times we've been talking about this.
No, but I think everybody gets the option of talking as much as they want, which is kind of
you mean because we happen to be good at it loosely, vaguely.
Yeah.
This guy wrote a bunch of rules.
Yeah.
And here's the point. This is not just some brand new thing. This has been used in tons of scenarios, including parliamentary scenarios. Okay.
Yeah.
And they all have a little bit different permutations of the original set that Robert made. So we would do the same thing. But it's a good starting point. Is part of the point. Yeah. It's a good starting, or at least to learn about it. And I'm not even saying I know much about it. I just know overall what the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Robert's Rules of Order.
Yeah, and like you mentioned on the video, though, it's kind of when groups get over a certain size. So right now, it's not a huge emphasis. You know, we can make enough time for everybody.
He said 10, but I think it's more like what Ernst said. He was like I think he was saying more like 5 or 6. I don't remember a number though. Do you remember a number?
No, but you know, I get the idea that more people and all. That's when you got to start putting limits on time. Otherwise, you just don't get anywhere, right? So, and you got to make it even, and you got to make it so it's fair. And so I can see.
I don't think it works like it necessarily gives everyone the same time, but everyone has the option to have the same time.
Yeah.
And I don't know how the rules works.
Yeah.
You know, because if somebody doesn't want to say anything right now, then shouldn't be forced to listen to his dead air.
Yeah.
I asked about what about filibustering? Is that a thing? He says yes.
Yes. Just taking the time just to piss everybody off to some degree, and
in a sense, trolling.
Yes, in a sense, trolling.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it's a thing. All right, I'm going to take my time, and damn you, you're going to listen to me bitch and complain about, even though it's not going to help. It's the kind of thing, right?
Yeah. Everyone, you know, every group is in a, you know, is not necessarily following all the exact same set of Robert's Rules of Order, so they might have a different way of handling filibustering.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we would too. Like if they're filibustering by talking about cat videos, I think we should have a way of stopping that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, this is where you know, somebody has to be able to step in, and if somebody has the authority that's granted by everybody, you know, that's kind of in line with what I was saying. You know?
Sam gave an example of something useful. He goes, if somebody, I forget the verbiage, but if somebody calls for something and nobody seconds it, then it's dead right away. Yeah. We don't waste time. He said it's a time efficiency thing too.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if you put an emotion forward, you want to have someone that's going to co-sponsor it, so to speak.
Yeah. Speaking of Edward, I don't know if we should talk about this at all, but I have a feeling that he's not participating anymore ever since I brought up leadership.
You mean Ernst?
Ernst, yeah. Sorry, Edward. Ernst, yes.
I don't know. It's hard to make guesses like that.
It is a big guess, but you know, he obviously had a big problem with it, and you know, I have a feeling he's lost a little bit of interest since we wanted to.
Maybe, and it makes sense that stuff like that would happen in our current state.
Yeah, it does. Yes. You
know, until we have more things established, like maybe if suppose a possible future is we institute some sort of Robert's Rules of Order, and suppose then somebody comes in afterwards. That's a pretty significant difference. And you know, like one time he said, you know, you're acting like a dictator. If we were doing Robert's Rules of Order, I don't think that would have happened. Whether you were a dictator or not, and whether he interpreted it that way or not.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. So, what do we got to? What do we want to deal with here today? Have you got some
other things?
We got some kind of list of things we need to deal with here.
Well, I by the way, just to be clear, what I do in general is just looking down the list of shit that we've already talked about and seeing what's highest priority.
Yeah.
Last time we said the highest priority was getting the website ready,
Yeah.
the Constitution. Edward was sending an email. Oh, I think Edward sent it to Reddit. Whatever. I looked. Oh, that's what you guys were just talking about. You said you couldn't open it. I was able to open it. It seemed like ChatGPT made it. There was a lot
had
of
chat help. I had chat
yeah.
help. That's why I said this is just the first draft. This is the main precedent, and we've got to fill it in, correct it, and everything.
I don't think there should. There's a lot of detail in there about stuff that's very concrete, or how do I say that? No, abstract. I think it should be more concrete, and not saying a lot of abstract things. Concrete, like exactly how we make a decision, like how we vote on it, versus abstract is like saying words like "we want democracy" or something.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, I know. But see, that's one of those things that we need to work on that. I didn't feel comfortable having ChatGPT try to do that because
that's why I'm just
got to
making
be
it right
our
now.
decisions. That was strictly a vague
I know,
and if you will.
Yeah. So one thing we could do is just open it up right now and start working on it. You want to do that now?
Yeah, I'll bring it up.
It'll be a bit of a learning curve for me. I haven't looked at it yet, so.
Well,
I mean, I barely skimmed it. We're at the same stage.
Yeah. Okay.
So
give me just a second, and I'll get it up and running here. Due to the fact that we were having issues with the OTT version, I went ahead and pulled up the PDF file here. I can make notes off to the side. But it's up. We're ready to present.
Oh, sorry. Can you like widen the window?
I will. Give me just a second. Where's it at? Oh shit! This opened it directly in StreamYard. Let me pull this out. I'm going to open it up with my document viewer, and then I can have more control over it. They don't make it easy.
I was having trouble yesterday with StreamYard. Trouble in the sense that either the system is not good enough, and it makes it too easy to fuck shit up, or I'm just not trained enough, you know, and it's fine. But like things like I wanted to pull up something on the screen, and then something else happened, you know, like something else, bullshit happens like this, or something. Right. And then it's like,
I'm just trying to. I gotta find my.
Here it happened again. I don't know were we doing this or this. What have we been doing? I don't fucking remember.
I'm just trying to get this zoom in.
I wonder if we can set this as a default. Do we like it this way better than the other way?
Are we seeing it on the screen anywhere? I'm not seeing it anywhere, guys.
Yeah, I haven't.
Oh, this you mean?
There we are. Okay.
Yeah. We need to find a way to make that zoomed in.
I could zoom it personally on my own.
Like the first title, I would just call it KAOS Constitution, like this. I spelled it wrong, but that's what I would make the title. Real, you know, don't put extra words just to make it sound.
Yeah. Well, as you can see with
what does preamble mean, by the way?
A preamble is just basically a quick summary of what it deals with. What
kind of like an abstract of a scientific paper?
Kind of, yeah. I believe so.
All right. I can't see it from here, but
yeah, I'm gonna put this.
I guess we need that. I guess we need that. It's like a summary, but I think we shouldn't make it yet. I think we should make the core content of the document and then decide what to make the summary of that. So let's work on the next section. Article 1, the manifesto. What's Article 2 say?
Give me just a second.
No problem.
I'm actually going to throw this up into Google so we can share it. So
We're not going to use our own
that.
system? I forgot the name of it.
Oh, Nextcloud?
Yeah.
I haven't got that working yet.
Okay.
I'm still running into a problem getting everyone. What's the word I'm looking for?
The registration. Yeah.
Registration process going.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
It's being a pain, and I'm not used to Google, so I'm trying to figure out how to load this thing up here.
You want me to do it?
Sure. You've got the document, right?
I'm trying to remember how you sent that. That was over email, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to search for your name. Uh-oh, we lost Edward.
Yeah, we lost.
There it is. Download or view.
Sorry about that. I hit the wrong.
Is this better than this?
All I'm seeing is the three of us. I can't.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean I haven't done that yet. Hold on. View. Come on. I got to copy paste. I wonder if the copy paste is going to work well.
Just my luck for using something besides Microsoft Office software.
I know. It's been like that since the beginning, hasn't it? Has stuff gotten better, like unifying wise, or what?
They have. I use LibreOffice. They're getting better, but there's still a little formatting issue when it comes to saving it as a Microsoft Office software or file.
The cut and paste sort of worked. Page setup is all weird. I don't know how to fix this. There we go. KAOS Constitution. I'm just naming it. Now I'm going to link this file in our meeting minutes. And now let me put this on the screen. How do I do that? Present.
There we go. Yeah, see, I was planning on taking that, like I said, I just threw it up real quick.
I would do it like that.
Yeah.
Or some permutation of that. Really short and simple. Preamble, I wouldn't even work on yet until we finish this thing. What does Article 2 say even? Code of conduct?
Code of conduct.
And then, so that's manifesto, code of conduct, moderation, charter. What's that about?
That gives a layout of how we moderate if we have to, dealing with the doxing and such.
In these meetings or what?
No, this is dealing with on the site when it comes to the doxing from the site, threats of violence and that.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that aspect yet.
So yeah, what are we expecting out of this manifesto? Is this about how we govern, how we work the meetings, or over how we're going to set up the whole chaos?
I guess it should be both, right?
This is how chaos in general would run. This would be our leading, our legal background, if you are, our legal backbone. Kind of like the Constitution of the United States is the basis for all the laws in the United States. Canada, I'm sure, has something similar.
Yeah,
you know,
kind of.
Where they,
yeah,
where they've got a prevailing
Hey Brian, have you ever
law.
thought about a manifesto in general?
Have I ever what?
Thought about making a manifesto in general?
I mean, that's once again, this all is trying to put a short form to how chaos works, right?
Yes.
And you know, the closest I've got is the introduction and the you know, the essays that I've written about how.
Well, then here's what we could do. Suppose we said, you know, whatever this title is, it's like we're saying, here's the main document. Whether it's called manifesto, even the word constitution is like manifesto also.
Right.
So really, this first section, Article 1, is just going to take people to Brian's first essay. And just a link, without putting all the content here, just a link, or maybe a paragraph with it, telling them why to go read the link. And then all this isn't necessary here, or unless it's already repeated in Brian's essay. None of this needs to be here. What do you think?
So all we're doing is putting a link to I mean, that seems like
short paragraph telling people to read Brian's first essay.
The problem is I don't see that essay as a manifesto.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more of a background of where we started from and how we got where we're at. It's not declaring, you know, this is how this system's going to work.
Yeah, that makes sense, because a manifesto isn't an essay. And a manifesto is like, okay, here's the beliefs. Point 1, point 2, point 3,
exactly.
Point 4.
Your basic principles.
Yeah, so what do you think, Brian, about making that?
Yeah, you know, I just, you know, I'm very conflicted with all of this stuff because, like I said, every time I try to put together something on a short form, I don't know, I get nothing but criticism that it doesn't tell you enough. And then I put together something more, you know, that with all the information in it, it becomes such a big document. Like what?
Well, no. Here's how you fix that. The against, you know, they say it doesn't say enough. Well, you can put a link at the bottom where the rest is explained.
Yeah. You know, oh God, I don't know. It's just kind of difficult that way.
Well, just to be clear, that's what this is. This is a attempt at, you know, a bunch of bullet points.
Yeah.
To be the manifesto. So you could start with that if you wanted. I'm sure some of this is good, worthy of using, if not the text itself, but at least the concept, which we could reword.
Yeah.
And let's see.
For me to think on the spot here, though, and come up with anything, I just can't. I mean,
oh, of course not on the spot. Yeah.
And even still, it's a difficult task in general, because, like I said, every you know, in the video that I just reviewed the video of our first video that we did there, a public video, and you know, once again, there's just nothing in there that's concise, that really. You know, we're going over things, and it's everything is defining it more, and it goes on and on and on. And you know, I don't know how you clip anything out of that makes it you know, easier to understand. It's just such a big learning curve, you know, to even consider how this thing works. You know, nobody thinks of social networks as a governing system. So at first I got to get them onto that idea, you know, and you know, and explain the fact that it is to some degree right now. I mean, Twitter right now, Trump makes decisions based on what he sees on Twitter and Truth Social and all the social networks, right? So
well, you're just saying it's hard to make this, and we can make it easier by dividing it into parts and then working on the parts separately. So here's 3 parts. I think this is worthy of having somewhere. If not here, then maybe up here. Okay. And what the manifesto would be is a list of principles and a list of actual processes. You know, like if we agree to some sort of Robert's Rules of Order, that's where they would be listed.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what this is trying to do. All of this is just trying to do this part, list of principles. I don't see any processes here, but I think we need the actual processes we do.
Well,
although that could just be a separate article, which maybe partly what this is.
I think principles might be easier than processes, you know, once we get into processes, you kind of you have to explain a lot.
Oh yeah,
So,
I totally agree with that.
So if we stick to principles, I mean, it's a principle of we're trying to get as far away from any kind of editing as we can. You have a platform here where you can explain yourself entirely any way you want. You're free to fully express yourself. These are very open terms. They don't define much, but they're principles, right? So.
And that was the basic process I was going after.
Yeah, I think we have to stay fairly vague because there's not an option not to be.
Yeah. So that's what Article 2 is over here. It's a portion of the processes. Let me read it real quick. It kind of just says what we can't do. This is what we should do. This is kind of more of a principle thing. Partly because it's vague. Processes would be more specific, like the Robert's Rules of Order.
Yeah, and most businesses don't put that on their constitutions or manifestos.
Yeah,
a lot of places I've seen, they don't put their processes other than sitting there saying, "Hey, we're going to be transparent. You're going to have access to all this information."
What do you think of this? If you don't want it in the Constitution, at least have a link telling people how to get to it, which is just an extension of the Constitution, like any paper has a, at the end they have Article 1, 2, 3, 4, just extra shit that's attached to the book, but it's not directly the content. It could be like that. How about that?
I'm not quite understanding what you mean, but
so basically, what he's saying, to get further information dealing with the KAOS system and how it operates, and that is linked to, just do a link to your essay.
Yeah, and yes, I mean that's basically what we're going to do. For more information, you have to read the essays. That's that's what it comes down to. Yes.
Well, to be clear, what I was saying was the processes that we're doing, that we're going to write and spell out, either they're going to be in the Constitution or not, and we move it to another document, and the link from the Constitution takes you to that document. So it's still there, either in the Constitution or attached to it.
I don't see but that's like three things now that we have. I don't see a need for three different things.
All right, then keep it in the Constitution.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not understanding. There's the two essays I have written, which I'm considering here as one thing, and then and then there's the Constitution here, and I don't think we need another thing that people go to that is more vague material.
No, not vague.
Well,
spelling out exactly what our processes are. It's the least vague thing of all of this.
Then that is what I've already have written.
No, it isn't. You haven't written down how we do these meetings. You haven't written down how we're going to select a leader. None of that's written down.
Yeah, okay. Well, this is okay. This is why I was asking earlier. Is the Constitution about how we do the meetings as we build KAOS, or is it about how KAOS works?
Right? KAOS, us, and the rest of it later.
Well, when I refer to KAOS, I'm referring to something that doesn't exist yet, and that's a social network that we're going to build, or whatever you want to call it, a social network or a database, or the database of public opinion.
It's a social network.
That is the KAOS. That is the KAOS system. Right now, we are, pre-KAOS.
I don't think you guys are understanding what I'm saying.
Yeah,
we've already said this before, a couple of weeks ago and last week, that we need to write down things like how we're going to select a leader.
Yes. Okay.
And where we would write that down and show it to people is this Constitution.
Okay. Well, I just asked earlier, and I asked Edward whether or not this was about the KAOS system, and he was saying it is. And
it's about KAOS in general.
Yeah.
It's about the entire KAOS.
Edward answered. Meaning he said yes.
Yes.
It's everything.
And I don't think we need to be more precise about that. No, this is just about how we run the meetings, right? Up until we build the KAOS system. Now, there is some overlap there. Obviously, we still want transparency in both. We want, zero. We don't want any doxing either in the meetings or in the, so there's a lot of overlap.
Right.
There's no doubt. But we still have to think of this as not being the KAOS system, just so we can, we're not confused.
I'm not confused. I don't know why you're confused.
Well,
I don't know why we wouldn't put everything in there. And if your worry is we don't know it yet, fine, we don't write it yet. We say we haven't figured this shit out yet, but here's the placeholder.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like it was stated, this is being a constitution. It's a living document. It can be modified over time, just like any other legal document. So we can add to it and subtract from it if need be, and things like that. You know, the way I see it, I think we're trying to put too much in the Constitution.
Possibly, yeah.
And that's what Brian's saying.
Because a lot, I've gone to different websites dealing with their constitutions. And
well, it makes it hard to even make the Constitution when we haven't decided if we're going to be leaderless or have a leader.
Exactly. I mean,
we don't have any of the details worked out, really.
Yeah.
So,
but we also need to have it in our premises as to how do we elect leaders? How do we do this? How do we do that?
But we haven't got there even in our group. How do we elect the leader? We haven't decided are we going to elect the leader, let alone the process of how we're going to elect the leader.
Yeah, but we're going to do that, and we need to write down how we're doing it so that, for example, when we put a vote out, the content is there and here, rather than leaving it to expecting people to go back to 3 episodes ago to listen to this shit. We have to write down the shit we've said.
Yeah.
But that's all I'm saying. And where's it going to be written down? Well, here or some other document that's linked from here.
Yeah.
Otherwise, where else is it? It has to be written down.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, what have we done until now? Let's look at what we have done until now. I mean, really, we formed a group. We're talking about whether or not we need to have a leader. What have we done till now? I have to say, I am a little bit frustrated that we're. It's hard to, we don't have a big enough group to really, I feel,
what would more people
in
do?
In the sense that how can we make decisions? It's just the 3 of us really at this point, right? So it's tough to decide who's a leader, the leading process, and every time when we have 6 people here, all of a sudden all that could change, right? So
why is it tough to decide?
It just doesn't feel right to make decisions for a larger group when there's only 3 of us, and we expect there to be a larger group eventually, right? It just feels weird.
Feels weird.
Yeah, I talked to someone the other day. They got interested in it.
What?
I talked to someone the other day in my artificial intelligence sub. They got interested in it. They were checking into it and that.
Anyway, on point on what Brian is saying, I already talked a little bit about how to deal with that. For one thing, we're making. It sounds like, Brian, you're saying you don't even want to say a sentence until everyone else agrees with the sentence. That's like the extreme version.
Well, I feel like there's a stumbling block there in that way. Yes, that's the best you could describe it. Yeah,
But that's like saying we shouldn't even start to even make the Constitution until everyone agrees we should make the Constitution.
Yeah,
I don't agree with that. We should start making the Constitution.
I understand the issue there, but
people afterwards, if they disagree with something, can tell us actually in this document if you have ideas to improve this Constitution. Here's how you tell us. Okay, so it's still a group decision. If you don't show up to a meeting, of course it's going to happen without your ideas. So then if you still want to be involved, then tell us your ideas afterwards, and then it gets incorporated. Because and then there's votes on those things to get stuff added or changed to the Constitution. So same with any future person who doesn't even exist in this yet.
Yeah. So the real point here, though, is to keep it vague and offer the opportunity for people to add at any time. Yeah. So that I
So
think
let's get specific here.
I think that's a good reason to kind of stay vague to some degree. Very short and very vague. You know, we don't want any doxing, obviously. You know, just the obvious thing. We're trying to make it as transparent as we can. We're going, you know, we're doing everything we can to try to keep everything as transparent as we can. We're putting a lot of the methods of finding order within the system. We're putting that in the hands of each individual. We're not ordering anything. There's no manipulation of the data. That's all going to be kind of placed on you to some degree. You know, by finding your own tools to search the data, right? Anyway, we just got to keep it very vague at the moment, I think. And
I don't know which part you're saying needs to be vague. Like as an example, if we have a leader, vague would be an example of vagueness would be we don't even say what the length of the term is, and the opposite of vague is we call it 3 months.
Yeah, and well, so somewhere in between, we are shooting. We are right now. We're looking at 3 month terms.
That's not vague. That's very not vague.
Well, it's not set in stone either, though. You know, we're not saying there's a 3
month term. Nothing's set in stone.
We're looking at
nothing at all. Even stones are not stones.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, you know, so okay, so we're talking 3 month terms, but we have to add something to that to say that that it's you know, up for debate, you know, or it's
one of the principles. Nothing is set in stone.
Yeah, okay.
Which just means we're always changing.
Yeah.
Just like the U.S. Constitution.
Yes. Nothing. So, and like you said, add something about we're you already did, but where they'll change as you give us input. And,
we have more details listed other places, but here's what we could do.
I do wish I had gone over the Robert's rules there a bit, because maybe there's some stuff we could pull straight directly from that,
and that's why I wrote this.
That might be fairly well stated.
Yes, you know? That's why I wrote that. Yep.
That we can agree on, at least for now.
Yeah. Didn't we write some notes? We did somewhere. Maybe it's in the website document. Is it here somewhere? Yeah.
What are you looking for?
Oh, sorry. You guys can't see my screen. In the meeting minutes, I had these notes. This was the stuff about, you know, when we do the vote, this is the context that needs to be there that people are considering on the vote of whether to have a leader, and then on the vote of who to select as the leader. So this is just the notes we took before. And some of this is vague, like you're saying, Brian, and it needs to be like this part.
Yeah.
You know, this is a little bit vague. And it needs to be because we're going to figure out cases later and then incorporate it into here later. And by the way, this is kind of the main thing we need to finish before we roll out like the first version of the Constitution, and that'll let us do the vote. Because then, you know, in this vote thing, we're going to say, here's a link to the Constitution. And then that'll be this document. And even though it's not finished, it at least has this shit.
Yeah. Okay.
So, you know, it's the first draft would be good enough. It does need to have some stuff here. Here's one thing so far. It needs to have more than that.
Yeah.
We're trying to do democracy, democratic, you know, a tiny bit. Brian, I think we work on that.
Trying to work within a democratic framework or something like this.
Yeah. Again, don't say too much. Just 1 or 2 or 3 things, whatever. Just bare minimum. Not like what ChatGPT is doing here with a lot of like this. This is so vague.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not helpful, I don't think.
Yeah.
Add make some more
Bare
questions.
minimum stuff. This part, Article 1, is it manifesto? Maybe this is still a useful title. I'm not sure. Maybe a different title. I don't know what you guys think. And again, we can always change it later.
Yeah, I have a
Yeah.
problem with the term manifesto. Just because of the Unabomber and all the rest of that.
I don't agree with that. That's not fair. That's like saying as soon as some
I
bad
know.
news use a word, no one else is allowed to use that word anymore. Fuck that. There's good manifestos.
I know. I know, but it does.
I
there's
got a
lot of
manifesto.
other
Well,
terms.
actually, I didn't make the manifesto. There's a manifesto that I'm behind
Yeah.
called Apostasy Day, and the idea is to say, hey, it's okay to leave your religion. It shouldn't be a crime, and there shouldn't be fear of it. There shouldn't be hate of it. That's a good manifesto.
Yeah.
So don't let the word go to shit, because Hitler also had a manifesto. Hitler
Well,
brushed his teeth. Are you going to say you're not going to brush your teeth because Hitler did it?
Yeah.
Do you brush your teeth,
that's
Brian?
Yes.
That's the
Yeah.
sad part. It's like everyone's took the word manifesto and turned it into such an evil
But
thing
Hitler
when
did
it's not.
Hitler did ruin some things. Like you can't do the mustache anymore. You just can't do that.
I
there's
wouldn't
some
want
things
that
you just-
mustache personally.
Yeah. There's just certain things you cannot do.
That's
So,
interesting.
yeah.
And you can't do that sign.
Yeah, these
I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
You can't do that sign.
Some people
Yeah,
don't
look
get
what
that.
happened to Trump. Or Elon
The other guy, yeah.
Musk.
So anyway, so there are some things that they do ruin, and we let that happen. And I don't know, manifesto, it does. To me, it has a bit of a bad ring because of that. And I understand your point of view, though, that if we use it regularly, it'll lose that the way people look at it.
We should. What's the word I'm looking for? Steal. This is not the right wording. Somebody stole the word. We should steal it back.
Yeah.
Plagiarize.
Do we want to make that?
Right, but it's like this is not even the right way to think of it. But there's the concept of selfishness.
Yeah.
I think it's fine and good. It just means don't let others sacrifice you for their gain. Okay, that means self-preservation. Nothing wrong with that. But people have stolen the word, made it sound bad.
There's lots of examples.
Yeah. We need to steal the word back. Selfishness is good.
Okay. Well,
And it doesn't mean fucking over other people. No, because that's actually bad for you.
Yeah.
You're making a bunch of enemies in the world.
Yeah.
That's bad for you.
Yeah. And I don't really, other than just calling it an essay or something like that, I don't know what else you would call it. So.
Well, you can use ChatGPT to give us an idea. Let's see. Just for fun.
Right.
I'm using my Robert's Rules of Order time to do. Give me another word for manifesto. Declaration, proclamation, platform, creed, statement, mission,
A lot of choices.
doctrine. That's to agenda, charter, policy document. Maybe charter.
Yeah, charter.
Yeah. I think charter is a pretty common one. Yeah. A lot of people use that.
Isn't that the same as Constitution, though? Hold on. Let me ask ChatGPT. Isn't charter kind of the same?
I think in Canada, that's what we have instead of a constitution. We call it our Charter of Rights.
And it says, yes, the charter is often similar to Constitution. Both lay out. Okay. So now I'm kind of confused. It's like saying, it's like having a document called Constitution, and then in one of the articles, we call it Constitution.
Yes. In some ways, though, manifesto could be looked at the same way, though, to use that term.
As the word Constitution?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. I
Is
think
manifesto same as Constitution? No. Manifesto expresses beliefs, goals, or intentions, usually political, ideological. Constitution defines laws, structures, and powers. Okay, they're different. Manifesto seems more abstract.
Yeah.
So manifesto seems like the principles part of this document right here.
Mm-hmm.
And processes is not part of that.
Right.
So this could be called manifesto. because it's talking about the principles. And then when we talk about processes, I mean, this needs a better name, but it could have, I don't know. I don't know what the better name would be. Let's see. So what name is good for the, well, ChatGPT used the word constitution.
Yeah. So maybe we call it the manifesto, and in the manifesto there's a constitution.
Okay, and then what's the name of the whole document that has all of that in it? Which this one we're working on.
That's what I thought the manifesto was, maybe.
I think charter would be a good way to put that.
This part?
Charter
No,
doesn't
up
seem
top at the title,
at the main
KAOS
page there,
Charter
Constitution.
instead
No,
of
I kind of like the word
Constitution.
constitution because, and maybe I'm wrong here, but you know, I'm from America. We have a constitution. It sets up the government.
Yeah.
We're trying to make a document that sets up the government. Now, I know there's other words we can use, but we happen, most recent history, at least in my country, we use the word constitution for that.
And we know
Don't they
it
do
very
that in
well
Canada?
here.
What's your document called?
Well, that was just saying it's the other term that you just used. What is it?
Charter.
Yeah, we have a Charter of Rights in Canada. That's like our Constitution.
Okay, so
Oh,
then they're the same thing. It's kind of flip of a coin then which one
Yeah.
we should do. Or
Yeah.
unless you could say, hey, there's more Americans than Canadians, so we win.
Yeah, well, and everybody knows your system better.
Okay, so I'd say we go Constitution then.
Yeah.
All right,
I agree.
and I'm fine with this word manifesto. I'm not sure about you, Brian, anymore, but
Yeah, we're going to go with it. I'm just
okay. And then what about this section? We could just call it laws.
That seems too defined.
Okay.
Even processes even seems a little less. So
Yeah, I only use the word processes because that's what I use in my head,
yeah.
which isn't great to use with other people. Give me different words for the laws part of it.
Yeah,
No, give me more ideas. It just listed manifesto and constitution again.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, you're just saying the same words again. It's not understanding my question.
Well, a lot of it is that we're repeating ourselves, I think, to a large degree, too.
It's giving me different descriptions. I want just one word, not more descriptions. Come on, ChatGPT, read my mind.
Yeah. It's swearing to itself right now. I can just see it swearing away. What the fuck is this guy talking about?
Yeah, it's here. Let me show you what's happening on the screen, man. It's doing this shit now.
Yeah.
That's not what I meant. I'm asking the questions bad. I don't blame ChatGPT. I blame myself.
Let's see what I can come up with here.
I don't know how to fix this. ChatGPT is confused about what I'm asking.
I
want
like
words
the
other
aspirational.
than manifesto and constitution.
I
What
like
now,
the term
Brian?
aspirational.
Okay, it's now understanding my question. Well, you know, you used or ChatGPT. I don't know who used this word. It's probably ChatGPT. I don't know, Edward or
I did.
it was you. Here, code of conduct is it's getting closer to it, right?
Yeah.
What's the moderation charter? Charter is the other word we used.
Okay, definition.
Oh,
of
governance.
constitution.
How about something with governance?
Yeah.
What about just saying governance?
We could
Check it
do
out.
governance.
How
What do you think
about
about that?
proposals for governance? Proposals for governance. I'd like to once again give more of an impression that it's an ongoing thing, right?
How about we do this? Meaning, we say proposals, but we put it in parentheses just to make it less proposally.
Okay. You think that does it? It does
I
it
would
a
do
bit.
process of governance. I mean, the thing is, everyone knows this is a living document. It can be changed. Once
Yeah, I
again,
mean, yeah, the
doing the
proposal
voting
thing's already there.
process and that. Right. So the process of governance, we've got to have something as a leading point.
Mhm.
What you could do, have it to drive the point about the proposal part of it. We could put a paragraph saying this is a proposal. Is that good?
Well, you just take out the paragraph and you're done.
Yeah.
This is, well, like you just said, this is a proposal. We'll just put that there.
Yeah.
Oh, really
This is
short
a pro-
paragraph.
this is a
is a proposal.
And based on what the general population says about it, we can remove, add, and once we've gotten it where they're like everyone's happy with it, we can pull the this is a proposal off.
We don't have to decide now. It's just an idea we're thinking of right now. We're not sure.
Yeah, I think we're getting more convoluted here in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're done. Does it need more than this stuff?
I don't know, you'll print it off, send it to me. Let me look at it for a bit separately.
All right, so I'm gonna. How do I do that? Let's see. Share. Where's the share button?
So where are we with the website?
Website's up and running. I've got the forums up and running. Give me just a second here.
And have we got like that introduction that I wrote and how it works for the part that I wrote? That's all in there, right?
That's in there. And then I've got a link to the forums, which are up and running, so that people can actually use it. They can all log it. They can all register under the front page, under that register link. They can register and it'll give them their access to the forum with no problem. They can access the forum as a guest and not log in to make comments. So I've got that set up. It's ready to go.
Website ready to go?
Website's ready to go.
You guys want to look
I mean,
at it?
I got a couple little minor tweaks I can do to it, you know, but other than that, I mean, it's the tweaks I've got to do to it are just aesthetic.
Oh, so when you say ready to go, sorry, I wasn't listening.
The website's up and operational.
Yeah, the
Forums
registration
are up
part,
and operational. Right? Registration's taking care of all of it.
Okay.
The website is 100% accessible.
The bottleneck before was just the registration, I remember.
Right, and I got that fixed.
Yeah.
So now you register through that front login, that front page, or you can register on the forums. Either way, it's going to put you in the system.
Yeah, and I guess
And
for
you're
me,
gonna be
when I
tied
click on
into it.
register, it doesn't do that because I'm already logged in. Let me
Right,
log
you're
out.
already registered.
Let me log out and see what happens. I guess I'd go here. Let me show you on the screen. I guess I go to login, and then I go register, and there we go. This is right. Before it said log in here.
Yeah.
It was going to the wrong page. Now it's correct. All right.
Yep.
Perfect.
But you don't have to log in to peruse everything. You can go looking around without having
Exactly.
to log in, right?
Exactly. You don't
let
have
me do
to
that
log
now.
in.
Yep. Here we go. Oh, I didn't even see this before. New users. Wait.
I'm not seeing it on the screen.
Hold on. So here, I'm not logged in, and this is what I'm seeing when I click on the forum link.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the way it looks. And here, I didn't see this before, but
But it's just a standard protect our backsides term of service. because I have to deal with international laws.
Okay. And then we might change this to put a more general thing we want to say, and maybe link. And these will still be there, but like they'll be second and third.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't understand why. Is that really what we want people to see when they first come there? Is all the all the legalities of the website?
If we don't, we get shut down by other governments.
But
Ryan, I don't know what
has-
you're saying. It doesn't have to be first. If we have
Yeah,
other
it doesn't have
content,
to be
it won't
first.
be first.
yeah,
Well-
I don't see why it has to be first. If I go to a website for
Nobody's saying it has to be first. It happens to
Huh?
be first because there's nothing else there.
yeah. Well, I think the first thing they should be getting to is the introduction that I wrote.
That is on the front page.
Yeah, that's
If
not
they
the
come in
forum.
via the main site,
That's here.
Okay.
it's right there.
That's the front page. That's
Okay,
the first thing they see.
Okay.
And then if they click on forum, they see whatever is in the forum, which happens to be this right now.
Okay. Okay.
Right, which is the
Right.
legal things I have to put up to keep us
Yeah.
from getting in trouble internationally.
Okay. Yeah. And that's in the forum, and that's not where they're going for information.
And if we wanted,
When they go to the information, they'll go down to here to what do you want to discuss? And that's where the links are at. That's where all the discussions are at.
so somebody else is here besides me. I guess it's you, Edward.
Probably.
It's showing how
Yeah,
many
it's
people
me.
are on right now.
Yeah.
Showing how
if
many
you
people
go-
exist on the system. That's me and Edward. There's two.
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't know why this name is here. Why is my name here?
Where it says latest member.
Is that latest member? Oh, okay.
That's the latest. That's the latest member.
That's me. Yeah.
Yep.
I wonder if that should be there. That's kind of like privacy thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Seems like a privacy thing to me.
I don't know if people want that.
Can you take that out, Edward?
I can take that out.
Yeah, just this
me.
part. And who knows? Maybe even the whole thing. I don't know if does it make sense to have this? What do you guys think?
The statistics.
Yeah.
For everybody, I don't see why everybody needs to see that. I don't. But,
Well, the statistics will help them understand, where.
where we're at the moment. But it's so there's so little there that it may scare people away. Oh, there's only 2 people involved.
Yeah,
here.
but it's also a case of they also use that to see whether or not a site is what's the word, popular.
Well, this is what I mean.
Worth their time- worth their time.
Popular enough. We're not popular enough that we want to advertise how little popularity we have.
Right, but we're also just a startup. We're going to have that
Yeah.
regardless.
You guys
I
are
don't
talking
think-
about something. It is a minuscule thing, but in general,
It is.
when you apply it to everything else, it
Yeah.
will have a big effect which way we want to go. Are we trying to? By the way, in my thinking, it's Edward's way, which is like
Yeah.
By the way, I have that problem
I'm
on my
fine with
channel.
leaving. I'm fine with leaving it up, but I don't know if the last person that entered wants their name up there.
Yeah, that part I think we should get rid of as a privacy
Yeah.
issue.
all right, let me
But
see
the
what I
rest
can
of
do
it,
here.
I think Edward's right. We leave it.
Yeah.
By the way,
Really
I deal with that with my live stream, Uniting the Cults. The default is you see the number of people on the live stream,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and you can hide that if you want. Either
Mhm.
the concept is you're hiding it from yourself, so you're not stressed out, I guess, or you're hiding it from everyone else, so to deal with what Brian said. I don't know. I think transparency is better.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
And that's one of the
And-
things
and-
we've got to
and-
focus on is the transparency.
Yeah.
I mean,
And that's what we're doing here, by the way. We're not hiding how many live stream viewers we have, which is 0.
Yeah.
right,
And you could hide it. It's a setting you could put.
Yeah.
right.
Oh, just leave her out there. Yeah.
Go ahead and
I
leave it then.
think if
Yeah.
we did try to hide it and then people caught us hiding it, I think that's a bad image.
Yeah, that's right.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Leave it out there, but just take away the.
When
last
you're
bit.
over bloating how big you are,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
and then somebody finds out you did that, that's very
Yeah.
bad.
Yes, that would look really bad. Yeah, I agree.
All right. I'm going to have to go through this and find where I may actually have to go in and change the software itself on that one. So I mean, I'm not going to be able to get to it right
Yeah,
this
don't
minute.
make it high priority.
No, yeah, it's not
I don't think it's a big deal right now. But yeah, if you can put it on your list of stuff, do you want me to put it
Yep.
in the meeting minutes or?
I've got it.
Okay. By the way, the only reason to put it in the meeting minutes is if like somebody else wants to be reminded to get it done. So if you want me to do that, tell me to add it to the meeting minutes and I will.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and enter it in the meeting minutes. Make sure we'll follow up with it next week. Make sure I get it done.
Change, remove
Last member.
last member. Low priority.
Yeah.
What I would say is high priority is the thing we were just working on, finishing up. We need to do the vote. In order to do the vote, we need the Constitution. In order to do the Constitution, we need to finish. Brian right now is going to look at it again, try to put some principles in there, stuff like that.
And are we? Where am I going to find that? Is somebody going to email me?
I just shared it to you, meaning you should have an email now saying that this thing got shared with you.
All right.
And
it's not hidden in some file I can't open?
No.
It's a Google Doc, so it's a link. Once you click on the link, it'll open up the Google Doc for you.
How come you can't just
and then you can edit whatever you want right in there.
Yeah.
And I sent the same thing to Edward.
Okay. Hopefully that works. Yeah, I don't know why you can't just print it right on the email. It's not that much there, is it?
I could do that. Is that what you meant by print? When you said print, I was thinking paper. And I didn't know why you said print.
Well, because that's I consider I don't know. I consider an email still to be the equivalent.
No, printing is the correct word because
you're writing it out, right?
Before printers, they would use print to screen as a phrase. Print to screen. Before printers, anyway.
Yeah.
Let me email this to you.
Yeah. Okay.
Brian, paste, and I only pasted the stuff we worked on. I didn't paste the stuff that Edward and ChatGPT did.
Okay.
Unless you want that also.
Maybe it was something out of
I mean, it wouldn't hurt. You just have more stuff printed out.
Yeah.
Let me get all of it then.
I did send that to you again as a PDF also, Brian.
Okay. I should be able to get that open.
Yeah. I just don't know if you'd be able to do any editing on it, but
But I can always copy paste it over to something.
So you're gonna print it, and then what are you gonna do?
I don't know.
You're gonna.
I'm gonna print a whole new one based off of that, and
You're gonna type it out again, and.
Yeah. Well, I just copy paste, and then do editing in my notes.
Oh, see, I keep thinking paper again. I'm stupid.
Yeah.
I was like,
I'll just copy paste it over.
Man, my brain's not working. Like.
You're back in the old day where everything had to be printed out.
It threw me off with the word print. Again, I'm wrong there, but it threw me off.
That's the way I look at it, though. I
that.
copy paste it. I mean, I work with everything in my notes. I'm going to copy paste it into my notes. I'm going to edit it in my notes.
That's fine.
And I'll send it back from there. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the way I generally do all this stuff. So.
All right, I just emailed it to you.
Okay. All right. Well, is there much else we want to cover here today?
Not that I can think of.
By the way, there's some things we talked about in a previous time about the layout. I think you said you haven't worked on layout yet, right?
Right. I still got to do a little aesthetic.
Okay. Yeah. You haven't worked on that yet. Okay.
Yeah, I'm still working on that part.
Yet. Do we have anything else? Let me go back to the meeting minutes. We could go through some older stuff. What is all this?
That was stuff you put in last week.
Yeah,
all that is vague stuff. Doesn't need to be in the document. I'm gonna unbold all that. Yeah, I think we're caught up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put the pledging idea in bold because we haven't really gotten there.
The
70
translation
hasn't joined us
system.
yet to talk about the documents he shared with us. I guess I'll put this in bold. He sent us some documents. We must have wrote it somewhere.
The translation built in the KAOS is already handled by the software. I've got every language translatable in the world available in the software.
How is it translating?
It does it automatically. It's got its own software library that it does.
So like an AI?
No, it's a list of all the words in the various languages that it pulls.
Oh, that won't work well then.
Well, it's natural. It's the same translation system as Google uses.
Okay. And I don't know that that's AI or not, but probably not. And
There
it's the
has to
old-
be
No, it's
some
not.
kind of algorithm doing that. There's a, there's
Yeah.
yeah. But I
Deeper
wonder
than
if
I can go in on that.
yeah, but that sounds like a sophisticated system. And maybe it's using the same one Google uses. I don't know, or it's an open source one, and I guess that stuff is really sophisticated now.
Yeah.
This is even older. Yeah, I mean that's enough going this far back.
Yeah.
Right?
So, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind ending early unless you guys want to
No,
talk about something else.
I have no problem.
kind of got some things I want to get done here today, so I think we can
Itching
call
to
it
go.
today.
His butt is itching.
Yeah.
Let's go.
For today.
That's why he's standing.
Yeah.
Then
I
we actually got some good stuff taken care of dealing with the Constitution that we can get it.
We will every time.
fleshed out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
You guys should have some optimism.
Yes.
Brian, you looked a little bit pessimistic earlier today.
I'm a little worn out. I've got a lot going on right now. We got besides.
Is it related to what you said a couple times ago? You mentioned
What, mowing the lawn?
no, mushroom.
Oh, the mushroom. Yeah. Well, I quit smoking. That's kept me. I've been quite tense for the last couple of weeks because I quit smoking. I took mushrooms and I quit smoking, and worked great as far as like I've had no cravings to smoke. Totally, I bet this is probably one of the best, the best examples of where mushrooms really seem to remove a lot of my cravings. Usually, I like to say it gives me 3 days without cravings. Fuck, a week later, I still don't have any cravings. But I am tense. I find myself driving faster. I'm in a hurry to do everything. I think my boss likes it because I'm working really hard at work. And I feel like everything's just got to be go, go, go all the time, And then on top of that, I got a lot going on right now in another...
I got to say,
yeah,
that first day that you mentioned that, and you apologized, something about your mindset was weird. I don't remember how you said it.
Yeah.
I also thought you looked like you're in a hurry.
Yeah.
And that's exactly when Ernst said that you're acting like a dictator.
Yeah. I was probably talking fast, and
you were, and you were like interrupty a little bit.
Yeah, and
Did I just make a word, interrupty?
Yeah,
interrupty.
I think you did, but we understand what you mean.
Yeah.
And definitely my nerves are a little bit more, running at the end of my nerves or whatever you want to say. But and it has been. I've been slowly getting better, but yeah, I still feel tense about a lot of things right now. Pretty much everything I'm doing. And then on top
on your shroom hit then.
What's that?
You said you worried Ernst is not here and about why. I go, one theory is you were on shroom.
Well, I guess, and I left a bad impression, I guess. But I
go ahead and apologize to him right now.
Yeah. Well,
he might be watching this. Apologize.
Yeah, I would like to have him back if we could. I think he was a really good, somebody that kept us on track and tried to, I want as much transparency as we can, and definitely pushing towards that. And I don't see any like the KAOS system. Eventually, there's the way it works. There's no leaders in that, and that's the way I want that to work. I just don't feel that we can get there without some kind of leadership, right? And
Right.
I think that's where we're losing them.
There's still sort of a leadership in the KAOS system because
because I don't know
because somebody's getting paid to like run things. And
but that's all backstage. That's like
Sure.
what Edward's doing now when he's working setting up the website. He's kind of working the backstage area of it, organizing or whatever.
And here's the point:
You
the
don't
KAOS
really
system,
see him controlling you.
Well, every front end has a back end, so
Yeah.
Mhm.
But we've kept it very, very simple for that reason, that it's just a database, so that people in the back aren't doing much to the data. Virtually nothing. You're just watching for doxing, and you're, hiring people to make sure the servers are running and stuff like this, right? So it's not stuff that people will interact with people in the system very much, right? Very, very, very little. So, whereas getting there and working as our group, I think we need to have some kind of leadership. And I think it's going to happen naturally to some degree. Like you guys are saying, you're acting as if I'm the leader already, right? I don't think you can get away from leadership in this type of thing. Ernst seems to think you can, and maybe there, but I don't see any examples, right? And I don't see any examples that
he
really
asked you to read his book, and
I know.
He says he
But that's
explains it in there.
that's not a working example, though. I mean, he may very well have spelled out things in his book, but there's no examples of an actual.
Yeah, and he's saying we can show them and be the example.
Yes, I know, but that's a big stretch, and he's right. I would like to finish his book. There's a couple of books now I'd like to finish, actually, because there's another one.
I wonder if Robert's Rules of Order is consistent with
another
the
one I
concept
gotta
of no
fucking read.
leader.
Well, there's another one I need to get into that. Yeah.
Well, that's why we need to do a podcast. Me, you, and Wissam.
Yeah.
I asked you a scheduling thing. Are you available, like in general? I mean, Tuesdays at my 8 a.m. Remind me, is that your 10 a.m.?
Well, not on a Tuesday. I mean, weekdays generally I'm working, but I am on holidays. I'm going to be going back to BC in 2 weeks, and I can do it anytime during the day while I'm on holidays while I'm there.
Email me the date range you're talking about, the dates, and then I will try to set up a meeting, the three of us, and we'll do it.
Okay. Yeah.
And by the way, the faster we do that, I think the quicker we will know what we want to do for these live streams, specifically about the Robert's Rules of Order.
Yeah.
So let's get that done.
Before we do that too, I want to do a deep dive. I don't know if I'll read the whole book, but at least get a brief summary through ChatGPT or something on Robert's Rules, and I will want some background before we talk.
And then I think it makes sense to also do that with Ernst's book.
Yeah, well, his is long.
Is it?
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, I got to almost 50 pages in, and we hadn't finished the introduction. I had not actually started into the story yet.
Wait,
the 50
you said
pages.
Story. Is it a nonfiction?
It's a novel. It's a novel.
It's a novel.
Yes, he wrote a novel, and it's a fiction. And but his introduction is probably 70, 80 pages.
Well, you know what? He should also write. I'm saying this weird. He should also write a nonfiction. Right?
Yeah.
Well,
his introduction is a
be in a novel.
I mean, his introduction is a nonfiction.
Oh, so the introduction is that thing, and then at least finish the introduction.
His introduction, he goes into, and he repeats quite a bit, but he goes into, how, how governance should be, and
and finish that then at least.
Yeah. Well,
and try to have that finished, and I mean just the introduction. Have that finished before we do our podcast, so that at least you could raise those issues during the podcast if they need to be, if you think.
Yeah. If there's any applicable stuff there.
Yeah.
and I would like to. I don't know. Like I said, his was in a document that I could not copy very well, and I had to take it page by page and put it into my notes in order because I get I usually have an app that reads me all these documents. I'm not reading.
What app do you use?
I don't know what it is. Just something on my iPhone that.
Okay, and you're having trouble copy pasting.
Yeah.
You want help with that? Like.
Yeah. So I can't. I did. I managed to copy his. I think the entire book. I can't remember now. Into my notes, but it's in some kind of file in my notes, and my app that reads them. It won't read it from there. I have to then take a page from that.
And when you copy paste from your phone, you can't do the whole document, huh? But if you're using a desktop computer, you could.
Maybe, yeah, maybe I could.
Wait a minute. On my phone, if I'm in a note and I do the whole thing, bring up the menu, there's a select all option. You don't see a select all option?
All the notes?
No. If you're in a document and there's text there, and you try to bring up the little menu so you can do things like cut and paste, one of the options is select all.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it all there, and I can go through it all there, but I can't. My app won't read it, or at least it won't read it in a way that if I
don't
stop.
think you understand what I'm saying.
I think I can. The app that I have that'll read it. I think it'll read it, but it starts at the beginning, and I cannot stop it and then restart somewhere in the middle. So if I go for like a couple hours and I'm listening to this thing, and then I stop because there's no way I'm going to go through his whole book in one day, and then when I stop, I start at the beginning again. It's lost its point where it was.
Can I tell you a system I've been using that might help you?
Page by page so that I can know where I'm starting and stopping all the time.
I follow you now. Let me suggest something. You might want to use this. I've been using a AI tool. Supposedly it's AI. Yeah, it's an AI tool that lets you put in how much text you want, and it'll read it. And it's good enough. I've actually used that to make a video essay of my own articles. Okay, so it's really good. Yeah. And here's the point: it's something like $10 a month. That gives you like unlimited usage, because without the $10 a month, it's a very small amount of text you can do. Yeah, like 3 minutes or something. Yeah. But with the $10 a month, you could put a book in there. And you can just press pause whenever you want. Yeah. It works really well. You want to try that?
I don't know. There'll be another app I have to get.
And, but it works.
And,
your app apparently is not working. You can't press pause?
Yeah.
Fuck that app.
No, I can pause. I can hit pause. And I can restart it again. But if I go look at something else, go to another web page for a bit, and then I come back, I'm starting off at the beginning again. Right?
Why can't you just press play from the pause point?
Okay, I can. But if I want to read, let's say I want to now peruse Reddit, and I don't want to do that for a bit, and I want to use that app to read Reddit, I cannot go back now. I've lost my pause point. You know what I'm saying?
I use that reading app. I follow you now because you're using the app for something else.
I'm using that app everywhere I go on the internet. Right? I'm not on Facebook,
in the case,
I'd use it there. Right? Hey?
Yeah, and by the way, the thing I'm saying, you have to use it on desktop, and so you would have a separate tab just for that document. You could have other tabs. Yeah. I don't think you can do this.
It just doesn't have tabs like that. If I want to read whatever's on the page that I'm looking at the moment, right? And if I pause it there and then I go to another page, it actually still reads that page. And so I want to read the other page. So I have to do tricks. There's tricks I have to do. And it has the option of where you touch a certain sentence and it'll read that sentence. So I'll have to do that just to restart on a new page, because it'll still be reading the last page I was at if I just hit pause and then play again, and I go to a whole nother subreddit or a whole nother website. I can't get to read that one now. It's still reading the last one. But now I want this information. So I have to
we're not in the future yet. The future is not here yet.
Yeah. Anyway, it's not quite there.
Fucking clunky systems.
Yeah. It's clunky.
I wonder if they solved this somewhere already. I don't know.
Well, I think all this would be solved if I paid for ChatGPT, because I could probably get it, because it'll look at what I'm looking at, right? And I could probably get it to read. And I could say, no, I don't want that document. Can you tell me where I left off of the last one? They could probably do that. You know, I have a feeling if I got the latest and I paid for ChatGPT, I might be able to do all that with ChatGPT because it reads to me too. I mean, it's got an option where I can, when I do something on ChatGPT, I can hit a thing and it reads it off, right? And and I've heard you can do voice if you're paying the apps that you can pay for. It's all voice, so I don't even have to type anything in or anything. I can just tell it, and it'll tell it back, right? And I say read this, it's going to read it for me. I'm assuming these are all assumptions on my part because I've never paid for ChatGPT.
I think sometimes you overestimate what ChatGPT can do,
Well,
and maybe sometimes I underestimate it.
I've seen videos where they're sitting in a room and a bunch of people are talking and they're asking ChatGPT stuff, and they're even interrupting it and going, okay, no, forget that, do this now. And
I've done that.
Yeah, and that's a paid version.
I've done it with the free version.
Yeah.
But it limits you how much you can use it, of course.
And in a voice, you can talk to it, and it's talking back to you.
And I like it because I get to interrupt it. Instead of ChatGPT saying 5 paragraphs it usually does, I can say, stop with the paragraphs. I want one fucking answer. Give me one word. And it stops.
I can't do that on my app, I don't think. I don't know. Maybe I can, but I don't know how.
I don't know. I don't use the app. I use the website.
How are you using voice?
There's an option at the bottom right that looks like a voice icon. You click it, you start talking.
You don't have it. That's on your laptop, I gather. And you're going to the website?
Yeah, I never use the app. Even on my phone, I go to the website.
So you're basically working through your server.
I don't know what that means.
I mean, through your search engine or what? Siri. On my phone, it's Siri. Right?
It's not using Siri. It's using ChatGPT's version of Siri.
I know, but Siri is the search engine that I'm using instead of Google on my iPhone. No, Siri.
Why are you talking about search engines?
I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
I don't know what search engines have to do with it. You don't have to go to. You don't have to search for this.
When I go to look for a website, I go to Siri and I look for the website.
Interesting.
Right?
You don't have to do that. You could just go www.chatgpt.com.
Yeah, but where are you typing that into? What app are you on?
A browser.
That's the term I'm looking for. Yeah, my browser, Siri browser. Right?
Siri is not a browser, but okay, I get what you mean. Safari is the browser.
Safari. Okay. Yep, sorry. I mix them up. Safari. So I go to Safari, and that's where I type it in, right?
Yeah.
So that's what you're doing every time. You're going to the website.
Yeah, although I use Google Chrome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, I'm using the wrong thing.
And it works fine. I have no reason to use the app.
Yeah.
I don't know why people use the app. I guess they just kind of assume it works quicker than using the browser.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's a difference.
Yeah. All right. Well,
and I tried the app just to try it. I didn't like it, the feel of it, compared to I had already been using it in the Chrome browser.
Okay. Well, I'm going to try working with it in the browser, and I want to see whether or not I can get a voice option.
Yeah. Cool.
And see how that works. But anyway.
All right. So are we done now?
Yeah. Let's call it a day. Thanks, everybody.
All right. See you guys next time.
All right. See you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.